What is the most Gen X thing? Columbia House collect notices. Whatever. I'm just on that border between Gen X and the oldest millennials, but my sister is 8 years older than me. We would call the local rock station to request a song, then sit there with a tape at the ready to hit record as soon as they played our song. Repeat that about 10x and you've got a nice mixtape. Video arcade. Before Gen X, graphics weren't good enough. And after Gen X, you'd play the games on your own home console. No other generation claimed them like we did. Crank calls. Always having a pencil in the car for the cassettes. Reality bites and singles. Record stores. Pong. Space Invaders. Being the last generation to have to walk across the room to change the TV channel. Being able to fix the TV by pounding on it the right way. Getting the brown box for the TV and there only being 3 stations. Also being totally forgotten about by the other 2 generations. Like dormice. Worthlessly looking at scrambled softcore porn on cable has got to be up there. Never getting mentioned in the news. It always goes from Gen Z to millennials to boomers. Watching MTV Headbangers Ball Saturday morning. Ready to wreck on the VHS when my favorite bands came on. Garbage Pail Kids. Hair crimper. Riding bikes with no helmets. Buying smokes for my dad at the shop. Putting baby oil on and sunbaking. 'Cause we were literally baking ourselves, haha. Doing whatever I wanted for 1 to 2 hours after school by myself 'cause parents were still working. Being allowed to roam the streets until almost dark. I forgot to add getting your hair permed curly. Found porn in the woods while BMXing. Swatch watches. Mixtapes. Actual cassette tapes recorded on a boombox from songs on the radio. Bonus for Ramones tunes as part of the mix. Ultima IV on an Apple IIe. Calling up the rock station to request songs and then taping them. Mixtapes. The young ones. The Sony Walkman. Massive CD collections neatly stored in binders for easy access. Parachute pants. The noise was deafening in the halls between classes. Exclamation mark. The Crow. Movie and soundtrack. Bartles and Jamies. The original White Claw. Breakdancing. Grunge music. Working with a handful of Gen Xers and the only music they can consistently agree on is the Pearl Jam station. Hypercolor. Being old enough to remember and appreciate life before the internet and cell phones, but being young enough to transition into that world without a hitch. The fact that they are always left out in the war between millennials and boomers. Blockbuster on a Friday night. I said a hip hop. The hippie. The hippie. To the hip hip hopper, you don't stop the rock. It to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie. To the rhythm of the boogie. The beat. Being the last unreachable generation. There were hours where no one knew where we were and our parents has zero way to contact us. Headbangers Ball, and that poser Ricky Rockman. Trapper Keepers. Using a payphone to make a collect call with the intent of the call being declined. It's a messaging system that notifies your ride that you're ready to be picked up from the movies. Where you watched Back to the Future. Or from the arcade where you just blew a roll of quarters on Super Mario Bros. Music videos on MTV. Shorts over sweats. I never did understand that. Remembering phone numbers. Analog childhood. Digital adulthood. The Breakfast Club. Parachute pants. A 3/4 sleeve concert shirt and a mullet. G.I. Joe. Sun in for hair. Feathered bangs. Blue eyeliner. Loves baby soft. Jellies. Going to the mall. The fact that our generation was kind of passed over. When I started my career, they wanted us to be deferential to older, more experienced coworkers. Pay your dues and wait your turn. As soon as we became more seasoned, they were like, look at all these amazing millennials and the great ideas. We're like the Jan Brady of generations. Be kind. Rewind. Today, colonoscopies. Skateboarding is not a crime. Stickers in the mid-late 80s. We have less fucks to give than any previous or ensuing generation. We are also incredibly deceptive. You are talking to us and think we care. We don't. We were classically trained by boomers to pay attention and respect our elders. We did not. We just made it look like we did long enough to get out of the situation. That is what Bender's fist in the sky meant at the end of the Breakfast Club. He won. He had a hell of a day causing grief for a boomer and made some friends. The Pixies. Valley Girl culture and talk. Blowing inside Nintendo cartridges. Telephone conversations. Like calling up your friend and chatting for hours. Winona Ryder. Janine Garofalo. B-52s, Duran Duran. IRC. Greater than ICQ. Greater than MSN Messenger.